Welcome back, boys. Well, come on, camera. Dang. We have a 2006 TRX250TM. Needs a new choke cable. This one here is stuck, so I have one of those. It also slips. When you try to, oh my gosh, this camera is going to drive me bonkers if it doesn't fix itself. We have new clutches, new centrifugal clutch and new change clutch to put in it today. So first step's going to be drain the oil, and then I think I'm going to have to pull some of this plastic BS off and make room. Oh my gosh, what is up with this phone? So let me get the oil drained out of this thing, get some of these layers peeled off so that we can access it easier. Probably pull the front tires. Once I get the plastic and stuff off, I do believe I'm just going to stand this thing on end, and it's impossible, nearly impossible to assemble this with it in this position. All those little linkages and stuff try to just fall out on you, so you almost have to stand it on its ass anyway. So this one here shouldn't be an issue as far as getting it stood up. I'll just have to lower my table down a bit, and yeah, so I'll bring you back after I get the oil out of it and get some plastic out of the way and the front tires, and we'll go from there. Okay, boys and girls. Well, I got all the bolts out. I got the plastic out of the way. I've got the oiler line pulled. Of course, the door was drained. I got her stood up on her ass, you can see. All that's left to do now is we'll knock this beat around on this cover a little bit. If we get her to wink at us and come off. There are some tabs on here that you can use to whoop on. I may end up having to get a sizable pry bar to make life a little bit easier. Just be careful, it is aluminum. A little bit of play in the engine mounts. Don't you worry, I'm not going to make you guys watch me struggle the entire time. I'm just going to give you kind of an idea of the sequence of steps here. I just don't, I wouldn't say they bless you with options. How about that? And you dang sure want to be careful. You don't. I guess I'm just gonna have to whoop on it a little harder with my hammer. And upgrade my hammer just a little bit. Anyways, let me fart with this, and once I get her moving, then I'll bring you back. Alrighty, well, I kind of jumped the gun and gave up a little bit too soon for fear of damaging, but I guess better safe than sorry, huh? How in the hell did that happen? How did I miss that? There's another oil line here, dadgummit. Apparently, I wasn't super thorough with my inspection, was I? Let me get this backed out real quick. Shouldn't be any oil in it. It's been up like this for about 30 minutes, so I reckon, yeah, it's clear. We'll just move that thing back there out of the way. We don't want it messing with us, so. Okay, now then, let's hope I've got all the room I need. Oh yeah. Yeah. See that? That looks brand new on the inside. I'll be damned. Well, let me set this down and I'll take you guys in for a little bit closer inspection. I know you guys can't see a whole lot, but and that light's not helping anything, is it? Yeah, everything inside there looks pretty good. And what I'm looking for right now is there's generally a little thrust washer that goes right up there, and I didn't find it in the case, so my fear is, oh, yep, no, that ain't it. Anyways, here's a little washer that we had to find. I'll have to poke around in there with the, oh, there's the linkage that fell out right there. See that? Yeah. So, cool. Okay. And that goes there. That's where she rides, but okay. That's I'm pleased with this for now. I will do some cleaning on all of this and looking around, making sure we're not missing anything, and I'll bring you back when it's time to pull these clutches. All right, fellas. Well, I finally got that side off. I ended up taking the inner fender out, and I got the centrifugal clutch out. It was just 3 10mm bolts. Sometimes it was somewhat tricky to come up with a good backup plan so that everything wasn't trying to spin on me, but it wasn't bad. I ended up using a little pipe wrench, and when it came time to actually pull the centrifugal clutch, I had a big ass puller, and it took quite a bit. I did try pry bars and hammers, and within reason, didn't want to do any damage, but that wasn't working. And it took quite a bit with that puller to get it to come off. My puller was slightly too large to fit in here comfortably, but I managed to make it work. The smaller one was on the clutch side, below the clutch. Larger one was on the bottom of the clutch housing. What's interesting, here is the old one. You can see how much shoe is protruding here, a good bit. I don't necessarily think that this was bad, comparing it to the new one. I think they're a little different, but not considerable. I think the guy was using the wrong oil, but that's neither here nor there. We're already in it. We're going to replace both clutches and new gasket, and he should be good to go. So I do still have to tear off the change clutch, these friction discs, friction rings. I have to pull them. It'll be just a little bit. I've got something else I got to take care of real quick, but that's where we're at. I've got those 4 10mm bolts to pull, and then the springs, and then that stuff should, there is another nut there, but once I get that spring plate out of the way, I'm hoping I don't struggle too bad holding back up on that. I may end up having to slide the clutch housing back on to be able to hold on to, but that's not a big deal. So I'll bring you back once I get that stuff removed. We'll talk about what methods I used to get it off and how much struggle it was, and we will inspect these friction discs whenever we get to that point. Alrighty, well, I got this off, as you can see. Getting the nuts broke loose, I just used my little Impacto with an adapter and a 10mm. When it came down to removing the 7/8, that, however, was a little bit more on the tricky side. These are right-handed threads. This one here is left-handed threads, so be mindful of that. You don't want to tear that junk up. So left-handed threads, right-handed threads on the actual change clutch. So as far as pulling that stuff out of there, just pull it out in the order, or stack it up in the order that you pulled it out, and then you know exactly how it goes back together. It's a friction plate, steel plate, friction plate, steel, you know what I mean? It's very simple. So I'm going to slap that back together, and I'll update you along the way if I can. And then I'll slap the centrifugal back in with the new clutch. And actually right now would be the prime time to get that gasket surface cleaned up. There's not much there, so I may not fart with this one, just wipe it off. And on the cover itself, you know, I'll pull that gasket off and RTV it. Since it is stuck so well to the case, I may just clean it up good and smear some RTV on this side where it makes up, and just call it a day, because it is stuck. So there's that. But anywho, I'll bring you back with any updates, and just pay attention to how you pull it apart. Video yourself, take pictures, whatever, and then just reassemble it in the reverse order, keeping in mind that you've got these washers that go in place. That washer there, and then right here, you know, there's two for the top and bottom of the clutch housing. There's a shim, and then over here, this is the engine side of it. There is a shim there as well. So just make sure you get all those back in where they go. Okay, well, here we are. I got it all back in. And all I can say is pay attention to how you come out with it, and pay attention to all your shims and washers and whatnot, because yeah, it could be a pain, but I've done worse. The linkage is the main thing. I've got it all back in here. This is how it goes together. Let me get you if I can. You got your long shaft that goes down in there. Sometimes you'll get oil down in that hole that shaft runs into, and it'll kind of hydraulic on you, so you'll have to kind of work it out. But see how the linkage goes back in. Nothing. There's nothing to it. Simple. Make sure that this little make sure that thing is sitting down in the grooves. There's a tri-groove there that rides in. And when you rotate it or shift, that's what rotates and releases those clutch shoes, or the clutch discs. But anyways, just be patient with it, and it will go back for you. I cleaned that gasket surface up really well, and I've got RTV on this section, so I'm fixing to slap this in, and I'll just run her down about hand tight, let that stuff kind of tack up just a little bit, and then I'll finish tightening it up. So I'll bring you back I'll bring you back when I get this thing down on all fours. Welcome back, boys. Well, it's a new day. Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest with you. In the process of telling you guys to make sure you pay attention to the order in which things come out, and so you can put them back in the correct order, I managed to get the one-way bearing in upside down, which, once I got it all back together, just as you see here, oil in it, everything, got her jacked up. Until I adjusted the change clutch, the tires were spinning the entire time it was in gear. If you tried to stop them, it would kill the engine. Once I adjusted the change clutch, you could start it up, and as long as you were holding that lever up or down, you know, releasing the change clutch, you could stop the tires. It was fine. But as soon as you let that go, boom, she was going. So this morning I had to completely disassemble this, just like I was yesterday, and flip-flop the one-way bearing. Well, let me set you up and I'll show you now that this thing operates as it should. Adjusting your change clutch is quite simple. You loosen the jam nut. If I can show it to you, I will. I'll give it a shot from here. But right down in, there you go. You see that nut with the little screw head on it? You put your screwdriver in there. It's a 14mm nut. You loosen that nut, and then you turn this. If you want to increase play, you turn it clockwise. If you want to decrease the play, which is what I had to do, is decrease play, you turn it to the left, counterclockwise. I just tightened mine in until it got tight, or still you could feel it pushing on something, and then I think I might have backed it off about 1/8 of a turn, and then tightened my jam nut back up, and it seems to work great. But that's only going to fix when you're shifting, right? That's your it releases your change clutch, which is over here on this side, as we saw yesterday. So let me set you up. I'll show you that this thing functions as it should now. I have not put it outside and done any load testing on it, but we are bench testing it, and it seems to be fine. So here we go. Alrighty, I got you set up here. You can see both rear tires. We are in neutral. It is jacked up. So I'll start it. Now I'm going to put it in first gear, and I'm going to hold it up. See there? That's your change clutch. Now it's in first. Back in neutral. Now we'll go to reverse. That's with the brake. Now we'll go back to neutral. So there you go. It functions as it should. I'm quite confident that the settings are good because it's not hard to stop, but it's pretty firm. So I think, the centrifugal clutch is doing its thing. I think what little bit of drag we're getting through that mechanism is just from the tension on the shaft, because it's not yet fast enough RPMs for that centrifugal clutch to sling out. So that's where we're at with it. But anyways, I hope somebody got something from it. I hope if I help one person get this thing back together correctly the first time, I mean, that's the key. Just pay attention to how it comes apart. Print out your diagram and just, screenshot that if need be. Just make sure you get that one-way bearing, which is number 27. You got to get that in correctly. Got to. So. But anywho's, all right, please like and sub, and we will catch you guys on the next one.